Welcome back again, and today we are going to discuss active and passive sentences. To better to teach and explain grammar, one should be somewhat comfortable with some grammar terms. If you are familiar with some terms, teaching them becomes so much easier. In the next several months, we will be discussing hundreds of terms. One book you must possess if you want to excel in teaching English is Essential Grammar in Use. This book series will open your eyes with easy-to-explain grammar rules along with lessons to better understand the rules. There are 3 different levels, but if you are beginning, get the beginner book. For a list of online rules and terms, go to usingenglish.com/glossary.html. Active and passive. There are 2 types of writing styles, and this should be emphasized during advanced levels of grammar instruction. I am adding them here because you will need to know these because of the sentence structure. Take a sentence, I want a soda, now. It's clear that the subject, I, wants an object, a soda. Now, rewrite this sentence, flipping it so that the object is in the position where the subject is located. A soda is wanted by me, now. It isn't just longer sentence, but it's also grammatically correct, and sounds a little awkward. Those 2 sentences are examples of the active voice and the passive voice. You will discover that certain kinds of writing are best suited for the active voice, while the passive voice is most appropriate for other kinds of writing. Understanding how, when, and why to use each is key to being an effective teacher when explaining this to students. The main difference in writing is the styles are opposite of each other. The best way to explain it is: in an active sentence, the subject does something to the object. For example, a subject, verb, object. Mike kissed Giselle. As we've learned, in the active voice, the sentence's subject performs the action. Here are 2 more examples of sentences in the active voice. Ben likes dancing. Vampira loves the movie Twilight. No matter what verb you use, structuring your sentence so the subject performs that verb, or action, is writing in the active voice. In a passive sentence, the object had something done by the subject. An object-verb-subject. For example, Giselle was kissed by Mike. Some passive sentences will have a by plus noun structure. These types of writing styles should be taught in upper levels or during writing courses. They should be explained that the writer has the option to choose which style he or she wants to write. The key is the object will go before the subject. Again, in the passive voice, the action is the focus, and that verb is acted upon by the subject. Every sentence in the passive voice contains 2 verbs. A conjugated form of to be. The main verb's past participle. Take a look at the previous examples, now written in passive voice. Dancing is liked by Ben. The Twilight movie is loved by Vampira. Notice how the direct objects become the focus of the sentence. The sentences now contain a conjugated form of to be, is, and the main verb's past participle, liked and loved. Often, sentences in the passive voice are longer than sentences in the active voice simply because they have to include additional words like prepositions. Take a look at this sentence in the passive voice. Summer break is conjugated form of to be, loved, past participle of the main verb, by preposition, my friends. However, sentences written in the passive voice don't necessarily need a preposition. Take a look at the example sentences below. The bill was paid. Crab Shack will be remembered. Cambodia is known for its historical temples. One reason to use the passive voice is because the passive voice has a subtler tone than the active voice. Sometimes your writing needs a subtler tone, like when you want your reader to focus on the action being done or the action's target rather than on who or what is performing the action. Again, this is why the passive voice is used in news reports. It is supposed to reduce writer bias by minimizing the focus on the doer of the action and concentrate on the action being done. Some students may ask you when it is appropriate to use either one. They should choose one form, and use the form that they feel is more important, the action or the person doing the action, and stick closely to that way of writing to avoid confusing the reader. The truth to the matter is, it doesn't really matter, but the writer has to decide which one do they feel is more important, appropriate, or they feel comfortable with. In the above sentences, what is more important, Mike kissed Giselle or Giselle was kissed by Mike? Neither is better than the other, but each is suited to certain types of writing. News anchors sound detached from the stories they're reporting because they often speak using the passive voice. They are trying to report a story as a narrator and distancing themselves from being part of the report as a narrator telling others what happened. The reason why the authors of opinion pieces write in the active voice. They are trying to draw you in and need to use the active voice to show you their positions. Although the idea of teachers not teaching the passive voice can hurt students in the long run, as the passive voice does have its applications. In conclusion, remember, when a sentence is written in the active voice, the subject performs the action. In the passive voice, the subject receives the action. In academic writing, it is generally preferred to choose an active verb and pair it with a subject that names the person or thing doing or performing the action. Well, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you, and I hope to see you again.